We're going to talk about another big guy. You played for the Lions. You know the city well. You know its fans. Sue speaks. It's been a few weeks since his Thanksgiving Day stomp earned him 2 weeks off. Yesterday, he spoke to the media for the first time since that suspension and the bizarre car accident that happened in Portland. The interview was on the Valenti and Foster show on 97.1, and it didn't exactly go well. Listen.
We're trying to get answers for the fans.
You're not getting a lot because of the questions that you're asking.
What question should I ask then?
I'm looking forward to playing football, and I'm going to continue to reiterate that because it's not an Ndamukong Suh show. It's Ndamukong Suh as well. That's a part of the Detroit Lions team.
But that's what the last 2 weeks have been, Ndamukong. It has been an Ndamukong Suh show. Because of what happened on Thanksgiving.
Not because I made it that way.
So by your actions on Thanksgiving, you didn't make it into this?
Okay. I appreciate the conversation.
Okay.
The interview.
And we'll talk to you.
Have a good day.
All right.
All right. So he bails out of the interview. Didn't exactly sound remorseful for what happened on Thanksgiving Day. Is that a good sign or a bad sign, Lomas?
I'm going to say neither. I'm going to say neither. And the reason why I'm going to say neither is, look, I know Mike Valenti and Terry Foster. I've been on their show before. And those guys dig.
Yeah.
They dig.
Were they out of line?
Get to it. And I think a lot of times they do cross the line. Look, with this guy, and I talked to Ndamukong Suh. I talked to the guy. What he wants to do, he wants this to pass over. He wants this to go away. He wants to get back out on the football field with his guys. He wants to be there. And he knows that what he does, he knew what he did wrong. He recognizes that. But I don't think this guy's going to sit back. He's not the type of guy that's going to sit back, apologize for things he's done wrong. He's not going to change. I don't think he's going to change the way he plays.
Yep.
I don't see him doing what he did before, meaning getting caught stomping on somebody.
Yeah.
But he's going to play with the same intensity. If he has a shot, he's going to take a shot on the guy. And it's being encouraged. Quiet as it's kept. That's how Coach Schwartz coaches.
All right.
He coached like that in Tennessee. He's coaching the same way here in Detroit. Guys are responding. He just seems to be like the catalyst in Ndamukong Suh.
Guys are responding, but some might say they're going overboard with it.
Well, I mean, some might say they're going overboard from the standpoint being outside Detroit. I know a lot of fans in Detroit embracing this image that we have.
Okay.
You can look back at the Bad Boys.
Stephen A., good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing, but I lean towards Lomas Brown and what he's saying. Let me explain something. It's a bad thing because it's not wise to go on a radio show and walk away because the questions get too tough. Now, I know you said you've been on that show before. I don't recall being on that show, but I heard what they were asking. They were interrogating him. They were digging deep.
Sure.
You can sit there and have a taste for it, not have a taste for it, but they were doing their jobs.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you ask me a question about actions that I committed, I'm going to answer the question.
Exactly.
Now, it doesn't have to be what you want it to be. But what I'm not going to do is run away from it and avoid it and talk about it's not an Ndamukong Suh issue. It's a Detroit Lions issue.
Right.
No, it is your issue. Now, this kid is special. He is a special talent. I don't want his game to change. But more importantly, I hope he's watching because I'm going to tell you something. I love the kid. I love his game. I don't want him to change in terms of his veracity on the field. Just do it before don't get flagged for a lot of stuff. Don't do the excessive stuff is all I'm trying to say. Keep it within balance. But at the end of the day, what you have to do is you're a good guy. You don't get in trouble off the field or whatever the case may be. Man up. Man up. If you're going to agree to do an interview, you don't have to give a person an answer that they want. Look, I said I was wrong. I apologized. I'm back. I'm moving on. Now, you can ask me this all day until the cows come home.
Right.
I know what I did. I got penalized for it. It's over now. I'm moving forward. But when you run away from an interview, that is as cowardice as it could get because what you're saying is you don't want to stand up and own up to anything that you've done, even if you feel that you haven't done anything. The NFL clearly felt you did, which is why you got suspended.
Right.
And as a result, it hurt your team.
Right.
So you can speak about it from a multitude of issues. But what you don't do is duck and weave and run. Because when you do that, it's showing that, man-child, as you would say, was highlighted as opposed to
But
man.
wouldn't you say that the Lions too should share some responsibility?
Yeah, but that's not.
I know that's not the
Schwartz I said this before. I was one, and I don't know, I think you and I disagreed on that. I felt Schwartz instigated it, not the instigator, because obviously it was Harbaugh that did that, but I felt that Schwartz was out of line, and that ever since that moment, the team has kind of snowballed. They've shown themselves to be a bit undisciplined. But still in all, that doesn't take... Listen, you went back to Portland. Your dad was there waiting for you. Your family was there waiting for you. You took a break. You went away. Why? The team didn't go away with you. You know why they didn't go away with you? Because they had a job to do, and they didn't commit the penalties that you committed that got themselves suspended. At some point in time, regardless of the accountability that others ultimately share, because definitely the Detroit Lions, with their slick selves, deserve some culpability in all of this, it still doesn't escape you from what you did. We can't teach people to lean on somebody else and not accept onus themselves.
Good or bad?
I agree with the points both of you made, but especially your points about how he handled that interview. Comes off as defensive, thin-skinned, wouldn't even take a question about the suspicious car crash in Portland, so we still don't know exactly what was going on there. But my point about him is, I'm going to stand by it. He is who he is on the field, not off the field. You can't have it both ways. They have built this image off the field. The Lions have helped build it as he's the nice guy role model who also can be the intimidating football player. I don't think he's the nice guy role model. I think he's that guy.
Sort of guy.
Yeah, he's not Troy Polamalu.
Right, no, but the guy you described as Troy Polamalu,
that guy
he's
who
genuine.
did that interview, that's the real Ndamukong. The intimidator on the field who pushes the rules into the gray area, who can be a borderline dirty player, who's capable of going a little psycho and stomping on an opponent, a fallen opponent, that's the real Ndamukong. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite and not endorse. I'm okay with that. I want him to continue to play, but learn where the line is.
Well, let me address your issue with the role model, though. You can be ferocious on the field. You can even break a few rules on the field, okay? You can be thin-skinned, and that's not advisable, and obviously I've already spoken against that. But that doesn't take away from all the good that the kid is. He's good in a lot of ways, and he's a role model in a lot of ways. It's just that he ain't perfect, and we saw a point of imperfection.
But maybe,
I still think he's a good guy.
Maybe in the end you can't have the Subway and the Chrysler commercial. Maybe you can't have that. Maybe you can't be both of them. I don't know.
Maybe you should endorse a different product other than Subway.
Maybe. Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
You just don't have to do Subway.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. Fair enough it is. We're going to